What is upper? It's your boy V Kush Beats. I'm here with the usual suspects of Leadership Council and GTS Movement. And today we're going to talk about getting your mind right and how mindset will grow your business. Before we get started, everybody introduce yourselves and we'll get into it.
What's up, guys? Travis with T Customs Productions. Happy to be here. Happy to take part.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy KC. Again, happy to be here.
What's good? It's Chrisio from mutualsounds.com. Happy to be here as always. Really pumped up for the topic we're doing today.
All right, that's what's up. So what we want to talk about today, like I said, is mindset and personal development and how these things are essential to your success in this business of music production and selling beats in general. Basically, I guess we're going to start with the personal development part, and I guess what books have you guys started reading or have you read that kind of got you into this, into personal development, I should say?
Well, my very first book, that kind of happened like 4 or 5 years ago when I was pretty young. I was like 16, and my mom's super positive and always been in like the mindset stuff, and I thought it was weird. And she used to make us read books. So the first book I ever read was actually The Secret. That book is basically what started it all off and to make me get my mind right, which has helped out my business a lot. So that was like the first book that started it off.
That's what's up.
For real, I think The Secret is so important for anyone who wants to make that transition from letting everything happen to them, like reacting to everything instead of responding to things. So The Secret is definitely something you want to start with. I know that's something I started with. For me, the book that really hit home for me was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This book really taught me why it's so important to have a dream and chase your dream. And for me, it all started in my previous role with my manager actually encouraging me to start reading books and work on my development. And since then, it's just changed the person I've become, but I haven't changed for the worst or anything. It's actually just made me a better person. And that's what personal development's all about. It's about making you into the best person you can be.
That's what's up. I know for me, the book was Secrets of the Millionaire Mind was the book that kind of got me, because I've always kind of been in the business and just thinking, for me it was how the rich person thinks and how the poor person thinks. That mindset switch is kind of where I was at, because from growing up poor and not wanting to stay that way, it kind of was just like, okay, if this is how you think right now and you want to get to a better place, you need to change the way that you're thinking in order to become more successful and just to develop in general. So Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, T. Harv Eker was probably the book that did it for me.
Yeah, I can agree. That's been one that I have had on replay. I don't know how many times I've listened to that audio. I've had that particular book in audio form. I don't know how many times. I kept that in my car. I was listening to T. Harv Eker. Man, he's so powerful. And let me backtrack a little bit. Why mindset? Because if you're not familiar with mindset and why this applies to your music production business or any business, the way I look at it like this is, like, if your mind's not right, it's easy to get inspired and take action temporarily. You can take action for a couple days or a week, but if your mind's not right, you're always going to fall back to whatever state. It's easy to get temporarily inspired to do something, but with building a business, with any kind of success, there's going to be a lot of failures. There's going to be a lot more failures than there are wins. And so if you don't know that, you don't prepare yourself for that, it's easy to just back out on what you originally started. And so for me, that's why personal development is so crucial. And I think the foundational book, you talk about personal development, Think and Grow Rich, guys. This kind of Napoleon Hill, like, this is the mother of all books, or whatever you want to call it. Like, this is the holy grail. This is kind of like what started the personal development movement, if you will. People of the likes of Tony Robbins, and so many people have been influenced and inspired. Basically, any new
And,
personal development stuff have been influenced or inspired by this book in some way, shape, or form. And so it's a very comprehensive book. It goes through, God, it's just so many. It takes forever to get. I have that audio, and it's taken me. I've probably only gone through it a few times. It's very comprehensive, but really that's the way I look at it. I look at personal development as a way to stay on track when you're not necessarily inspired. You know what I mean? If your mind's not right, it's like, I think T. Harv Eker describes it as like a thermostat, right? It's like if your mind is fucked up and you get temporarily inspired to do something, you can take action on something, and you're always going to fall back to that because that's what your thermostat's stat at. He talks about, like, say the room in this or the temperature in this room right now is 70 degrees, let's say. And is it possible that there's a breeze that comes through and it drops down to 65 degrees? Yeah, it's possible. But since the thermostat set at, say, 70, it's eventually going to get back up to 70 because that's what the thermostat said. It's the same way with your mind. It's the same way with personal development. If you don't get your mind right, you can have a temporary success or something like that. But if you don't constantly work on that and get your thermostat changed to success all the time, you're going to fall back into whatever you were doing before. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen so many times, and it's just like a testament to why personal development is so crucial. Like, I've seen so many producers and artists who take action for like a couple months and then they just fall off, and their mind's not right. They're not working on personal development. And if you get in and you start reading daily, you start listening to audios daily, inspirational stuff, you start listening to leaders, marketing giants, man, your world's going to change. Your world's going to transform. If you consistently listen to powerful people, your world's going to change.
I know go ahead, Chaz, go ahead.
Just a lot of people, they want that instant result and they want instant success, but it doesn't happen that way. If we're let's just stick with people who made it in hip hop and rap. When you hear those bigger artists talk in interviews, they're very intelligent and they have their mind right. Like, you might listen to them and think, oh man, they're horrible at rapping, or you might think they're good, and then you hear them in an interview and you hear how intelligent they are. It's because they got their head strong, and things didn't happen overnight for them. It took a long time of them developing themselves and developing their craft to get where they are, and that's why they are successful.
But I know when I was a kid, my pops used to be like, he used to always be like, you want to think of yourself as being in a better position than the one you're in right now. Like, he got me to thinking as a kid, like, okay, you may be poor right now, but if you constantly think of yourself as being in a better position, you're going to catch up to that, whatever it is you think you are in your head. And he used to be like, you can either be a whiner or you can be a winner. Which one is it going to be? You know what I mean? And basically what that means is, like, if you're a whiner, you complain. You think about all the bad things that are going on and none of the accomplishments or the things that you've done in your life thus far. So if you sell beats, and if you're constantly complaining about artists not buying beats, you're constantly complaining about nobody's listening to your tracks, you can't get traffic, you can't do this, you're whining, and your results are because of that, because you're not thinking about the right things. If you're thinking about winning, you're thinking about the goals that you've accomplished. Guess what? I got a new lead today. Guess what? I got, 2 people like my fan page. When you start focusing on the positives and leaving the negatives where they are, you'll start to see results. You'll start to see your life start to change and get better. And that's basically you're developing your mind to think that, okay, I'm only going to focus on the positives. Let the negatives stay where they're at.
Exactly. And just look at the people you're surrounded around, because if you don't work on yourself, you're never ever going to attract the kind of people you want to be around and the kind of people that are going to help you succeed. Take us, for example, doing these webinars, masterminding together, as Think and Grow Rich mentions. Like, you can't come across people who are successful or who have what you want or who are on the same level as you if you don't first of all work on yourself. It all starts inside. Like, you're not working on the outside of you, you're working on the inside of you first, and then that's portrayed on the outside. So if you want to attract successful people, then you first of all need to be thinking like a successful person yourself.
It's
Yeah,
like
bad.
what Brian said and what Chris said is that basically like attracts like. If you're the reason why you're not getting beat sales and you're not getting attention to your fan page is because you're complaining. If you're gonna complain, then you're attracting that like, and you're attracting negativity. If you start thinking positive on your little successes, that one like, if you keep focusing on that one like that you got, is gonna attract another like and another like. Thoughts are physical. Like they've tested Olympic athletes, and they had them visualize their runs, their Olympic runs and everything, and they can actually track the same amount if they actually did it. Like them visualizing it makes the muscles strain exactly like if they actually did it. So you guys got to start getting your mind right and attracting the things that you want to attract instead of focusing on the things that you don't want to attract. Because you're gonna get those things that you don't because you're focusing on it. Because like attracts like.
It's like my back to that winners and whiners. My father used to say, whiners say, they say if only. It's always if only I had this, or if only somebody would help me, if only this and this and there's all these things that they need to have in order for them to have their success. And he would be like, winners say things like, despite all these problems that I have, I'm going to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. You know what I mean? If you're always complaining, if you're always thinking about if you could only have this, if people could only do this, guess what? You're on the wrong side. You know, you're on the wrong team at that point. If you're the person who says, okay, this problem has come up, and it's like, okay, how can I get through this problem? And you're the person who's actively trying to get past something, you're going to win and you're going to succeed. But it's a mindset change, and it just takes you to reading a lot, listening to a lot of audios, and literally making those things a habit, a good habit for yourself.
The if only thing is you're gonna always be waiting. If I had this much money, but if you're not taking action, you don't have the right mindset. The if only, you're just gonna be sitting there for a real long time, sad and stuck. Like the mindset is so powerful.
It is. It's like I mean there's something in. I mean, when I first started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and he's talking about poor people's mindset and how, for example, parents with their children, their parent might want a toy or something, and they tell their child they can't afford it, you know. And again, it all comes down to mindset, because rather than saying you can't afford something, for example, as a producer, if you want some new equipment, and you look at the price and you're like, I can't afford it, you're basically telling yourself that you're not going to make enough money to buy it. But if you change that question from I can't afford, but if you change it from saying I can't afford it and say how can I afford it, that's when you start to get creative, and that's when the hustler comes out in you, because then you'll look at ways that you can make enough money to get that piece of equipment. And that's just a shift in your mindset. But if you're not exposed to positivity and books and audios and videos and those sort of things, you won't ask yourself that question, you know.
There's a lot of things. It's like with GTS movement. Okay, like if I'm going through something and we get on a video call, the positivity from me being around my team will get me through whatever it is I'm trying to get to. You know what I mean? Like I may be in a negative state, but just me speaking about, or just us just masterminding and building on one topic will get me out of that state and get me to where I need to be at to have some type of success. And that's what it is. It comes from books, it comes from audios, it comes from being around positive people. It comes from a lot of different things, but it's all about being around positivity. Once you separate yourself from the negative, because we're all going to have problems when it comes to our business. As long as the positives outweigh the negatives, you can make your way out. And as long as you don't dwell on those negative aspects in your business, you can make it. You can be successful. But you don't get that way if your mind is always thinking about the problems that are coming up and dwelling on that problem.
And one thing that helped us were these books that we told you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the fundamental book, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, you've heard it. If you've heard anything about personal development, you've heard this book. You're going to hear it. Once you start getting into personal development, if you haven't already heard this title, you're going to hear it come up a zillion times. You're gonna hear people reference it, everywhere. You guys touched on, what was the T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind? Powerful, dude. Just as far as like inspirational, I mean, Tony Robbins is about state, about getting into state. He says he's not a motivational speaker. He's about getting you into peak state. And when you get into a certain state, you start to take. He's the massive action guy. You hear us talk about massive action. That's Tony Robbins speaking out through us because we've worked on our personal development and mindset. And that's, he's a powerful guy. If you don't know Tony Robbins, go on YouTube right now and type in Tony Robbins and watch a quick clip of him. 2 minutes, you'll be captivated by what he has going on. You'll see he has this immediate presence. That's what he's done his whole life. He's been a mindset guy. He's been on audios, just getting his mind right, getting in a, again, he takes like athletes, for instance, professional athletes who are maybe in a slump. He gives a lot of examples in his stuff, like maybe Andre Agassi or something when he was #1 in the world at one point, dropped off to whatever, nothing. He was like feeling bad. Gets him into this state, gets him thinking a certain way, and what do you know? However, so often he's back like #2 in the world, and so often. So this stuff works. The mind, thoughts are things, guys. Thoughts are things, right?
Yeah.
Your thoughts affect your emotions. Your emotions affect your action, and your action yields the results.
Exactly.
So if your mind is fucked up,
your business is fucked up.
Your business is fucked up.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true though. It's like the difference between someone watching the video and it says click the link and take massive action, and one person clicking the link and taking action, and the other person thinking about the what ifs or worrying about what's going to happen. One person says, I'm going to make it happen no matter what. The other person is playing out all the scenarios of it not happening. So they're already setting themselves up to fail. Now, when you've done personal development, when you're in the right mind state, you have so much belief in yourself that it doesn't matter about anything else. It doesn't matter about all the outside influences and things like that, because you will find a way. You have so much faith in yourself, but you can only do that if you work on yourself, because no one else can give you that. No one else can be you. No one else can be better than yourself. We're all unique in our own way, and it's down to you to work on yourself and become the best version of yourself, because there's a lot of people who just haven't been exposed to personal development and mind state, and they don't know who they are. They don't have their own identity. They're copying other people, living their life the same way as other people, in the same, stuck in a routine. I mean, we talk about the rat race. There's so many people who are just doing what is the norm and aren't thinking for themselves because they just haven't been exposed to anything else.
It's like Chris, you were talking about. It goes back. There's a lot of different things that factor into the mindset thing. But like, for me, it's like the paramount of our business. Like, nothing goes right if we're not in the right state of mind. Like, nothing goes right. Like, everything's a problem when you're not thinking in the right state. It's so many different things coming at us at so many different times that if you're constantly on a success thing, you don't worry about the small things. You don't worry about it. The small things are what get people hung up. Every little problem becomes a big problem when you focus on those things. There's so many different problems that happen throughout my day as far as selling beats, as far as my business. If I focused on all those little things, I would never get any work done, ever, and I'd never make any money. My lifestyle would depreciate because of that, because I was focused on things not working when I should have been focused on how to get things working. And I see it with producers every day. Go ahead, Trav.
Yeah, I want to say, like, I think it first starts too if you're in a position where you haven't been introduced to this personal development, you first have to recognize that you're conditioned as a young person. You're conditioned as a baby when you're first brought into the world. You're conditioned by your environment. You're conditioned by your parents, by your friends, by everything around you. And so that's what a lot of people get stuck. If you were surrounded by, a lack mentality, people around you were always struggling to get by, like that literally affect, you might not think it does, but again, we talk about subconscious and conscious and subconscious mind. Some people might think that sounds kind of weird, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about with personal development, you're literally reprogramming the way you think. You're reprogramming your subconscious mind to think success. And if you haven't been exposed to it, you first have to recognize that's part of it. That's part of maybe why you're not taking the action you should be taking. Or you hit a roadblock and you say, oh, well, it wasn't supposed to work out anyway because you heard it from your friends and your family and you've heard it all your life. People tried something, it failed, and they just turned the other way. So you've been conditioned to think that way. So you first have to recognize it. First have to recognize that you're thinking that way, and then you have to constantly work. It's personal development. It's a series of, it's over a span of time, right? It's listening to audio, it's reading books, and it's something we work on every day. Even when you get to a certain level, you still constantly are building on that. So it's a lifestyle. It's not just like a one-time thing. You do personal development one time. It's a lifestyle change, and you're gonna see leaps and bounds. First off, you're gonna see leaps and bounds in the way that you feel, just the way that you approach your business. And then that's going to, obviously, by the way you feel and the way, that's going to affect the action you take, which is going to affect the results. That's what I was talking about. So getting the mind right is paramount.
I like how you said we've been around people, because all of us I bet you all of us right now can think of someone who's always being negative, always complaining about something, and something bad always happens to that person. Always. Have you always wondered why? It's because they're attracting that, they're being negative, and they're bringing that to themselves. And use their examples and don't be that person. You have to work on yourselves, no matter where you were or what you're currently in. If you develop your mind, you'll be better off in the future, and you'll see that, and you'll work towards that. You'll be more motivated to do that.
I think another thing is with hip hop and with the nature of what we're in, it's not cool to need help. Like, it's not cool. It's like you're too cool for that. Like, if somebody sees you in a self-help book, if somebody sees you in a bookstore, it's not cool. But if somebody sees you in a self-help section, they think that there's something wrong with you. It's not that there's something wrong with you. Like, the thought process of, like, okay, personal development means well, there is something wrong. I need to get my mind in a different way because my life isn't where I want it to be at. And in order to get out of that situation, guess what? You need to read books. You need to listen to audios that are going to get you out of that state, because if there's no one around you that's living like that, and if there's no one around you who's positive like that, it's your responsibility to get yourself into this position that you need to be in. It's no one else's responsibility. So no matter if it's your wife, your husband, your mom, your dad, whoever you live with, if their life isn't right and they're constantly talking negative about whatever it is that you're doing, or that music thing that you're doing, like, they don't respect what you do. Okay, but if you hear that over and over again, it starts to wear on you. You can either take that and internalize it and be upset about it, or you can take that same thing and be like, you know what? You don't get it because you gave up on whatever it is you gave up on, and you're mad at me, or you're frustrated because you see me going after my dream, and if I make it, it validates that you just didn't. You're a failure in your own eyes. But you can't worry about them. You got to worry about yourself. You're the only person on this planet that matters right now. If you want to get it, you're going to do everything it takes to get it, or you're going to wind up just like them, complaining to your kids about whatever their dream is and why they're not going to get it.
Exactly.
So
And exactly. And it's because the fundamental, the main reason is they stopped growing. They thought, I mean, most people will go to school, study, and that's it. They think that's the end. You don't need to study, you don't need to read books, you don't, you get into a job and that's it. Then you just work 40 years or whatever and retire, get your pension. They stop growing, and and because of that, because they're not reading, they don't keep up with the times. I mean, us as music producers, we're in the information age now. We're not in the industrial age. where you had to do manual labor and things like that. You know, we're selling beats, we're selling something that's digital, that isn't even tangible, that you can actually, I mean, if you think about an MP3, for example, you can't hold an MP3. You know, say we're selling something off an idea, and for a lot of people, because they don't read, they're not up to date, they don't actually realize that the internet is where it is at now. They don't understand that you can actually make money some other way than doing manual labor or having a job. So they're always going to say, "Oh, that music thing," oh, or put you down or not believe, because they don't understand. They don't read. They don't know what age we're in at the moment. So
That,
you'll always get that, because working on yourself is all about growing.
right. There's something called emotional labor that a lot of people who maybe who do manual labor stuff, they don't understand,
Mm,
because they feel like if reading books might be pointless. They could go out and do some kind of manual labor thing, but that's work to some people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's, personal development is work. It's not just something. It's not just some, like, mystical thing. It's a progression. Again,
mm,
it takes work, and you know what I mean. It's something that some people don't understand, especially people. I feel like people coming from an older generation. It's a lot.
yeah.
We are in an information age, and younger people are more likely to grasp onto things like this. Not to say that it's excluding older generations, but they've had more of with the conditioning we're talking about.
Yeah.
The 60, 70 years of conditioning, that's a lot harder to break than maybe like 20 or 30 years of conditioning is. After so long, it just like becomes solidified in who you are. And like I said, it just starts with an awareness. It starts with an awareness that this is something you constantly have to be working on, and absorbing success, man. If you absorb success, if you absorb marketing success, inspirational, motivational stuff, community is, like we talked about, is so important. It all ties in. Doing your own personal development, but then having this community aspect. This is personal development right here. I mean, we get so much out of these kind of hangouts. Community is king, man.
Definitely.
Exactly. How many people? That's the thing. How many people? One, how many producers do you see shooting videos, and how many producers do you see actually having hangouts like this, webinars, and actually doing that? But we've had to condition ourselves. We've had to develop ourselves to, one, be confident enough to be on the camera and be on YouTube live, but also we've had to read to be able to speak about topics that we know about. We need to be able to know what we're talking about. And that just hasn't happened overnight. It's taken time. I mean, me, for example, I never used to be, I could never have seen myself doing this in maybe 3 or 4 years ago, because I wasn't a confident guy, and I'm an introverted person, but because I'm continuously working on myself, that's why I'm able to come across and be able to speak on webinars and things like that. But that's taken time, and that's taken me speaking, actually talking to myself and saying, you can do this, you can become a better person, you can become more confident, one step at a time. Every page of a book I read, every audio that I listen to, every motivational video that I watch, that actually adds something to my personal development.
You know what's crazy? I like how you said. Someone just actually called me yesterday morning after I released a video, and he was basically thanking me, and he's like, "Man, I remember you. This was just a year ago. We had class together." He said, "Man, I remember you used to be that little quiet kid in college in the back of the room, just chilling, and now I'm getting motivational tips from you. I'm getting tips from you, and I appreciate that." And that all came from personal development. I used to be quiet. I used to be shy. I would probably never shoot a video if I didn't learn how to work on myself and grow and develop myself. Like, there's just so many benefits. Like, you need to develop yourself. And what I told him, I was like, well, when you know what you want and you know how to get there, nothing's gonna stop you.
Mm.
See, for me, it was the exact opposite. I've always been like out in the open, like loud and just out there. My thing was I had to come to grips with thinking with my thinking like I had something to hide, like as far as like what strategies I'm using, what techniques I had to come to in my head and say, you know what, like everything that I know from me being on this planet and me doing this music, I can share with someone else. And there's no competition for me. And it took a lot for me to be like, I'm gonna share this with other people. With my so-called competition, like why would I give you that strategy? Why would I show you these things when I can have them and keep them for myself? And I know, Trav, I know you've gone through this where people ask you like, why would you share that? You mean like you're gonna lose money. You know what I mean? It's not once you get your mindset in the right place, you realize that there is no limit to how much money I can make.
You, once you understand, you get paid as an entrepreneur and business person based on what value you bring to the marketplace in all shapes and form. Information based on your instrumentals, based on anything, whatever you bring, whatever niche market that you're in, you get paid as a direct result based on what value you bring. So holding on to these secret strategies and things like that, when you understand abundance, we talked about this before, but when you understand abundance, that's personal development. I mean, all this stuff ties in. The things that we've talked about, you could go back through all the webinars we've talked about to this point, and you're going to see little traces of personal development every single one of them. You're going to hear a little snippet of one of us talking about something. It's going to be something directly from something we learned in a personal development book or audio. The inner circle audios that we're a part of, those are huge. Like, we have this series of audios. We can listen to leading marketers in our industry. It's not just on personal development per se. It's just conditioning. Like, you're taking, either taking out old bad thoughts and replacing them with new, or just putting in new good stuff that's going to help you with your market. Seth Godin, man, that's personal development for me. Listen to that guy speak. What he's done in the marketing field. Like, it applies. Les Brown. I mean, there's so many people we could name. Bob Proctor, we talked about The Secret. Frank Kern is a marketer. Like, we've talked about these people. Like I said, if you go back to the webinars, you'll hear traces of all these people either coming out or we've spoken about them specifically. This is all part of our growth.
Mm.
Definitely. I know as far as like the inner circle audios for us, I don't know, there's hundreds of them in there. I mean, literally, I will take an audio and I will listen to that audio every day for 7 days,
Yeah.
and internalize everything that's in that audio, and then I will apply those strategies to my business. And that's why I have so much success, because I have so many people who know more than me teaching me how to better myself. Like, if you're surrounded by people who need you for help, you're not gonna grow like that. You need to you'd be better off being the dumbest person in the room and learning from everyone else as opposed to being the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
It's like it goes to just, you want to surround yourself with someone who knows something that you don't know. And if you don't have any people around you as far as a community, you need to surround yourself with audios and books and videos from people who know more than you. You don't have to be physically in a room with someone to learn something.
And if you are, when I listen to internet marketers or marketers in general, they drop so many just regular personal development things in their little seminars or their little videos anyway. They tell you how to develop yourself, and they show you how to market yourself. I always like listening to that Jordan Belfort. He drops so many good personal development things in there. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the inner circle audios. I mean, there's so many of them, and it's like, for me, like, my personal development starts from when I wake up. Like, obviously, I'll listen to my daily affirmations, but then on my way to work, because I take a bus to work and it takes about 45 minutes to an hour. On my way to work, I'll either read a book on the bus, but most recently I've just been listening to an audio. So I'll listen to an audio on the way to work, I'll listen to an audio on the way back from work. So before I've even got into work, I'm already in the mind frame that I'm going to have a productive day, but I also know when I get home, I'm going. That's when my work starts. That's when I start working on myself. I start working on my business, and that's how it should be. You should start your personal development should start from when you wake up. And if you can't read a book, that's why there's audios. That's the great thing about technology. People find ways to make things easier for you. So there's so many different other mediums like to get information, not just from having a physical copy of a book. I mean, you've got Kindles these days and things like that as well. So there shouldn't be any excuses to work on yourself and get the information.
And if you're one of those people who feels like it's not cool to do that, guess what? No one has to know what you're listening to. No one has to know that you're working on your personal development. It's personal development. That's why. It's something because you're doing it yourself.
Exactly.
So it's
And
like,
yeah, the beauty of it as well is, okay, fair enough, maybe now you're a bit worried about what other people think, but you get to a point when you've worked on yourself so much that it doesn't even matter what anyone thinks. It doesn't matter if because what typically happens is when you get into personal development and other people haven't been exposed to it, they think you're crazy. They think you're a mad person talking about the law of attraction, the universe. What the hell? There's abundance. You can make this amount of money. They think you're crazy. But as you develop yourself, it gets to a point where you don't even care what they think anymore because you know where you're at, you know what's possible, and it takes time, but you'll get to that stage where it doesn't even matter
You
what
know that
anyone else.
you know that you're ahead of them eventually. Like, you
Exactly.
just start laughing at yourself because you know that you're ahead of them. How
Exactly.
far they need to go to develop themselves.
and it's that the thing is that they see the change. They don't know what it is, but they see that okay, they know Chris isn't the same Chris he was last. Just like Chaz, your guy said that you used to be the guy in the back of the class, and now you're the guy giving him tips on something. He's seen the change in you like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what happens because you work on yourself. The people around you see the changes. Some of them see it as positive. Some of them don't. Some of them don't understand it because they've been conditioned to act the same way for so long that just you changing is too much for them to handle. But guess what? It doesn't matter to you because you know that you're on the right path and you're on the path to success, and that's what it's about. It's about developing yourself to be a successful person.
Mm, for real.
You good? You good, Trav?
Yeah, man, y'all. Like I'll just go back to. Oh, first I want to say this. I just want to get this out in the open too. Is Now when we say personal development mindset, by no way do we mean that's all we do. Obviously, if you've watched any of the other webinars, you've seen the training we put out. We're all about tactics and strategies and marketing. Getting our marketing up. It's just without this, the rest of it doesn't get operated properly. It doesn't get executed at its maximum capacity and potential as when our mind's right and we've got 100% certainty behind what we're doing. It's like you could wake up and have a shitty day, and you can continue to have a shitty day. You've probably had these days where you wake up and just continually gets worse throughout the day because you're kind of, instead of reframing is another term we've talked about before. It's like when you have struggles and roadblocks, which you're going to have being a small business owner, being an entrepreneur or music producer, you're going to have roadblocks.
Mm.
And if you don't know how to reframe those, and if that means if you don't even reframing, but then just like audio, like if you wake up in a bad mood, let's say, throw in an audio that's going to get you on track. You know what I mean? Throw in something. Listen to a Tony Robbins, man. I'm telling you what, this guy. If you're in a shitty mood right now, put on 5 minutes Tony Robbins and see if your mood doesn't shift in 5 minutes. Listen to Tony Robbins, and that's what it takes. It's like everybody has bad days. We're all human. It's like we're not just machines, and every day is just a beautiful day, and that's whatever. But it takes the consistency is what's getting us where is getting us the progress, right? Is getting the results. Is the consistency. And if you hit a roadblock and you don't continually work on your personal development, you hit a roadblock and you just don't take action for a week or 2 days or a month. Mm-hmm. But that's where this mindset keeps you on track. And like I said, it could be throwing in an inspirational audio just for the day. And telling you, man, this is the real deal. This is the real deal. I mean, like I say, we don't have to tell you. I mean, if you go back and look, Chaz was talking about his videos or wasn't shooting video. He's kind of an introvert. I'm an introvert too. I've had people tell me that I'm becoming more extroverted. Like if you look at some of my earlier YouTube videos, man, my personality is dull as hell. I mean, I got traffic and I get people clicking on links and I'm helping people, but at the same time, you can see the growth. I mean, if you go back and look at my video, you definitely see the growth. It is like leaps and bounds. And that's what it's all started. It's been about a year for me, like hard body, I would say, on the personal development. The past year has been just going at all these resources we've mentioned, audios, reading, but listening to powerhouses in whatever areas you're trying to improve in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the difference between someone who, I mean, you're gonna come against brick walls and things like that. You're going to run into brick walls and fall down. But the difference between someone who has done personal development and has a better mindset is the person who's going to get up and continue going, as opposed to the person who just lies down and gives up. It's like, for example, I got online, I started putting my beats online December 2012. I didn't sell a beat until June or July 2013. It took me about 6-7 months to actually sell my first beat. Now, what if I had given up a month before, or even a day before I sold my beat? What if I just said, I'm taking all my beats off, I'm never selling beats, I can't do this, I'm not making any money, it's never going to work? I would never have known what was going to happen. And that's the difference between someone who says, I'm going to do it no matter what, no matter how long it takes, and someone who says, well, you know, I'll give it a month. I think I might be able to sell a beat. I think I might be able to make money from this music thing, but you know, I'll try it out for a month and see how it goes. And if I make some money, cool. I'll continue doing it. If not, then you know, I'll just go back to I won't give up my day job. You know, so that's part of personal development.
That's a recipe for 100% failure rate. What you just described right there. Is a recipe for 100%. Like really, it is. If you go in and you're not behind what you're doing. Again, guys, if you haven't seen this Tony Robbins, Frank Kern, and John Reese interview, we actually have it posted inside for the team members too. If you guys haven't seen it, like watch that. It's a short clip. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what getting in a state of certainty. Even if you're not getting results, and how that cycle, the thoughts lead to your emotions that lead to the actions, which leads to the results, and how that cycle kind of feeds on itself.
I mean, it's exactly like how you just said. You know, that downward spiral happens because, you know, if you go into something and you're not 100% and you don't get the, you know, result, you don't get the, you know, reaction you want, you don't get the results you want, then you feel worse. And you put in less effort. Now, just like that downward spiral goes, you can have an upward spiral. If you go in with something and you think, okay, this is going to work, and you get a little result, and you get that little result, and you take that result, and you build on that, you're going up. It doesn't have to always go down. And if you have that personal development and your mindset is right, you take the small wins and you build the momentum off of those small wins to get the success that you want to get. You can take that. You can take something as little as getting a lead and be like, I got 1 lead today. Cool, I'm going to get 3 leads tomorrow. Or you can say, I only got 1 lead today. Man, this doesn't work. And then you don't get any leads tomorrow because you didn't put in any effort.
Yeah.
So that only happens because one person's thinking is, yes, I got a lead. The other one person is thinking is, I only got 1 lead. And that's what it is. It's the mindset. It's how you're thinking is going to determine how much success you're going to have.
When Chris was describing that it's the what if guy that you were talking about. If I don't make it, he's not strong enough. You know, there's probably a book. Go to your local bookstore. There's probably a book out there that says how to make $1 million for dummies, probably. But do you have a strong enough mind and do you have enough heart to actually do it?
Mm.
Because chances are, if you're just looking up that book, you probably don't.
Yeah, because you're not even going to read it. They're going to buy it because you're like, yeah, I'm going to learn how to make $1 million. And then you're going to, that state that you were in that made you want to buy it,
It's gone.
for that second. And then you get home, you're like, man, this shit got 300 pages. I ain't reading this.
Yeah.
And you put the book down. It's, it's,
Exactly.
it's because it's that same thing. You didn't really want it from the beginning. And that's how your production game, that's how your business is. If you want to succeed as a producer in this business, you have to want. You have to want to succeed. You have to want to get your mind right. You have to want to learn how to market. You have to want to put together strategies, and you have to want to fail. Like, we've all failed our way to this success. Like, we didn't just become successful. We've all been to that point where we're like, man, fuck this. I don't want to do this shit because it ain't working. And then something says, you know what? I need to keep doing this shit because I can't do anything else. I don't know what else I would do if I wasn't doing this. Like, a lot of times people quit and you always come back to that thing. You may say, I'm not making beats anymore, and then a week later you're right back on the drum machine because you know that's what you're supposed to be doing. Well, once you know that, once you quit and you come back, you have a choice to make at that point. You say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do because something's bringing you back to that drum machine. So you need to keep pushing and keep grinding and keep doing whatever it takes to get where you want to get to. Because the day you quit, it's over. Like, it's over.
That same mentality should be the same mentality for anything you do in your business. Like, I can't think of it. I just lost it.
If you don't take the marketing side of your business as seriously as you take the actual beat making side of your business, you're going to have a lot of frustration. That's why most of the producers that we see online, that's why most people are watching this because you're frustrated. Like, you know your beats are dope, but you don't understand why you can't get people or artists to listen to your beats, and you're frustrated because you didn't want to take the time to learn the marketing. You didn't want to take the time to develop yourself personally to say, you know what? You can become that authority figure if you know what you're talking about. The reason why we're on this panel is because we know what we're talking about. If we didn't know what we were talking about, we wouldn't be on here. We wouldn't be confident enough to get out here and put ourselves out here like this. But that comes with us reading lots of books, us listening to audios every day, and us actually taking what we learned and using it and applying it to our business, applying it to our lives. It's bigger than just us selling beats. This helps in all aspects. If you don't know how to speak to people, you're not going to be able to make the sell anyway because they're going to think you're an idiot.
But I mean, selling, when you talk about selling, I mean, selling a product is one thing, but what about selling your kids on doing something, cleaning their room or doing something like that? Selling applies to relationships in general. It's not just for business. So it's like, it's going to help you improve your life, your relationship with your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, your kids. Like, it's going to help you in all aspects. So,
we're always selling. I mean, if you go for a job, for example, you go to the interview, you have to sell yourself for the job. If you're trying to get into a relationship with a girl or guy, like, you've got to sell yourself to make them want to be with you. Like, we're always selling. We just don't realize that we're selling, but everything is to do with selling.
I mean, when you have a 9 to 5, when you get on this path of personal development and you start to elevate yourself, a lot of the bullshit that goes on at your job, you don't notice. Because your mind and your focus is on something completely different. You start to disassociate yourself with that negativity. You don't even care about the bullshit that's going on the job that everybody's talking about because your mind is somewhere else. Your mind is focused on you getting better and you succeeding. So you're not even a part of that world anymore.
Exactly. I was going to say something, but I can't remember what I was going to say now.
I remember what I was going to say. So, when I lost it for a second, but I'm back. But the thing that Brian said, that process of saying, all right, I have to do this because this is the only thing I see myself doing, that's personal development. You already have that mechanism built into you because that's the same thing that you can apply to everything else. Like, you already have a pretty good self-development if you have that drive and that urge to come back to music because you know you have to do this because you can't see yourself doing anything else. It's just learning how to develop it and apply it to other things in your life. and recognizing that.
Hmm. Exactly. I mean, yeah, you just have to look at what most of the successful people, the millionaires, the billionaires, what they've done. No one's like a superhuman or has special powers or anything like that. They've just worked on themselves, figured out what they want to achieve, stuck by it, gone through the struggles to get to where they've got. You know, that's all it takes. We're all humans. We're all equal. Like I said, no one has special powers. It's just down to you to actually make that decision to improve yourself and get to where you want to get to.
It's a daily thing. It's a lifestyle. It's like people on the road to fitness, or people they'll
Yeah.
tell you. You listen to any kind of fitness gurus or anybody in any other health or whatever. It's not people. Diets fail. Why do diets fail? Because they're temporary. People go on these little kicks for 3 months, and then they're back overweight in a matter of no time. After. So
Yeah.
it's for fitness is a lifestyle change. For personal development, it's a lifestyle change. You're constantly evolving and growing and building off what you've already programmed yourself with thus far. But weeding out all the bullshit. I'll tell you, it's a process. It's been, I said, for me, it's been a year thus far, approximately, and I still got a lot of way. I still got a lot of room to grow. I still got a lot of things that I want to tackle and get into. I know that I've made leaps and bounds in just a short amount of time. I've been really hitting this hard, but and it's going to reflect. It's going to reflect the action that you take. It's going to reflect directly in the leads you generate, the exposure you're getting for the videos. It's going to come across in your videos. Right? It's going to come across in your videos when you're attracting people in to listen to your music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To relate it to like us and what we do as far as our business, like if you get a lot of customers, you get a lot of leads, but you're not getting a lot of sales, right? Or if you are getting a lot of sales and you're getting a lot of leads, but you're stuck at this certain level, if you're stuck, if you're not getting sales or anything and you're stuck, you need to work on your mindset to break through. If you're getting sales and you keep making the same amount of money every month, $1,000, you want to get to $2,000 and you're stuck, guess what? You need to work on your mindset to get you out of that level.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. No matter what side you're on, if you're not making enough or if you're making a lot and you want to make more and you can't seem to break through, it's because there's something blocking you up here that you need to work on to get through.
It's the thermostat. What I mentioned earlier. It's the thermostat, right? So you got to change the thermostat in order to. If you got it set at 70 degrees, you're always going to fall back to that. You might have a temporary breakthrough in success. But it's always going to fall back to whatever your current. In this case, your mind is set at. That's your thermostat. So you got to increase that thermostat in order to yield that higher success or whatever your ultimately your output is. My camera's over here shaking around.
You know what's crazy? I just finished Psycho-Cybernetics, and he was just talking about the $5,000 a month man. And no matter where they placed him in a high economy area to sell. He only sold $5,000, which is really bad in that area because you could easily be making more. And then they put him in a low income area, and he still made $5,000, which is really good per month. But he couldn't break through when he got to the bigger, higher income areas, and it's because of his belief. He's even said it to his boss that he felt like he was a $5,000 man. So when he showed him Psycho-Cybernetics, he had him work on his mindset and his self-development, and he broke that belief in his head that he could be more than just a $5,000 man, and that's the power of developing yourself.
It's like when we say, in GTS movement that we want to have, everybody making $15,000 within a year. Like, some people don't understand. Like, they think that's not possible, but it's possible. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's because we've developed our minds to think, you know what, I can get to 15. I see people making that kind of money already. So my thought process is, how can I get to that? How can I get to that level? And it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it comes back to the secret and the law of attraction in the universe. Like, a lot of people don't realize that if you can see, for example, a Lambo, you see that Lambo driving around on the road, it's possible to get it. obviously you might not know how to get it at the moment, but if you can see, if you can touch it, if you go and you see a house that you want to live in, if you actually believe that it's possible to live in that house, then the next thing is just figuring out how to get to that house. But you've got to believe first of all. And a lot of people see something exists, but they still don't think it's possible. They look in their bank account, they only see 3 figures, but they don't realize that there could be a lot more zeros at the end of that. They've just got to first accept and believe that there's abundance, and then figure out how to get to that. But just because what you see there at the moment is what it says it is, doesn't mean that can't change.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be real things either.
Hmm.
Real things yet. Think
Yeah.
of the Wright brothers. Everybody thought it was crazy and unreasonable that people could fly. Now
Exactly.
look at it. You know how much belief they had? You know how many people probably told them they were crazy, they were stupid? You know how strong of a belief and how much self-development they had to have to create the airplane? Or Thomas Edison with the light bulb.
Yeah.
Like, people used to think lights were crazy. People used to think sewer systems were crazy. But look, we got them. It's here.
Yeah.
It's normal.
It's normal.
You're on a flight every single day. Like,
Yeah. And I think a lot of people take that for granted. They don't, because the funny thing is, I was watching Days That Shook the World, and it was about the Wright brothers. This was a couple of weeks ago, like exactly what happened when they flew their first plane and how it went. I think it was like 800 meters or something like that, and stuff like that makes you think. What were they thinking? They thought about that, and a lot of people have stopped dreaming. A lot of people have stopped thinking about what's actually possible. For things like that to get invented, people would have had to just have so much belief in themselves, even though it must have seemed so crazy at the time. Like,
Yeah, well, you said they hit what 800 feet? Was it 800 feet? Was their first
800
attempt?
feet or 800 meters, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first try.
See, the reason why they succeeded in achieving their ultimate goal is because they saw 800 feet as a positive result. The haters were saying it was only 800 feet. Like, they were like, bro, we just flew 800 feet. Like, what the hell? Like, we're taking this to the next level. And so
Exactly.
that's a mindset. They had the right state of mind. They were going to make it happen no matter what.
Yeah.
that's how you need to be. You need to be able to think, I need to make it. I can make this no matter what. That's what the burning desire is. That's what people don't get. That's what a lot of people. That's why a lot of people don't succeed, is because they don't have that fire and that passion to succeed.
Certain
Like, if you don't
survival
have it,
mentality.
it's going to be extremely hard, and you're probably not going to get it. Like, that's what keeps you going. When it gets rough and it gets hard, the fact that you know that this is what you're supposed to do, you know that you can do this. You know you can sell beats. If you know that you can sell beats, you can sell beats. If you don't think you can sell beats, or if you're just trying to sell beats, guess what? You're not going to be that successful.
What's that saying? If the person that says I can is right, and the person that says I can't is usually right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a
100%.
mindset thing completely right there.
Exactly. It's all about perception.
I was just watching Will Smith earlier, and he was saying there's two things. he was saying, you can be bigger than me, you can be faster than me, you can be smarter than me, but if we get on a treadmill, two things are going to happen. Either you're going to get off or I'm going to die on it. And that's a survival mentality. And that's what a lot of people don't have, and that's why they're not going to be successful with their music business. And he developed that through tons of self-development. That mindset.
He said he's not going to be outworked. His work ethic is unparalleled. I mean, but it's all stemmed, again, we've said it 1,000 times, I think, so far, but it's books. It's a combination of things, guys. It's, first off, recognizing that there's improvement to be had, right? There's things to be changed. there's new thoughts and new ideas to be embedded into your brain. Then it's a matter of taking the action of listening to stuff daily, listening to audios daily, reading daily, plugging yourself into a community of people who are on the same wavelength. And the combination of these over time is what gets you in that frame of mind to really take your business seriously and execute it with 100% certainty.
Yep. I know this webinar is probably going on a little longer than we thought. I'm trying to see if Chris is going to get back on before we hop off. Let me hit him real quick in the chat, see if he can get back in.
But just to recap some of the names while we're figuring this out, you know, Les Brown, just some names to Google if you don't know. Les Brown, motivational stuff. Just as I said, I told the guys he's a walking quotation. He just, everything out of his mouth is it's powerful. Tony Robbins, Waking the Giant Within. That's one I've had on repeat for a while. You know, any of the guys, Bob Proctor, Frank Kern's a big marketing giant.
Eric Thomas,
T. Harv Eker, Eric Thomas. What do they call him? The hip hop. What do they call him? The
hip hop preacher.
Hip hop preacher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki with Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's actually that's an excellent read. You guys got to check that. Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh yeah.
That kind of outlines both lifestyles. That's a good way to see kind of both aspects of what we're talking about. So I definitely recommend that one. And then obviously, like I said, the
Napoleon Hill, the go-to.
Napoleon Hill, man. Think and Grow Rich. That's like the foundational one.
There's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of books. I mean, like Travis said, if you've written down those names, go on YouTube. Hit YouTube and check them out.
You'll find inspiration that branches off of there for the rest of your life.
Exactly. There's
That's it.
there's so much material, and it's all free. Like if you go on YouTube, it's all free. So it's, you know, there's no excuses of I don't have enough money or anything like that.
And just to give you guys some perspective on it, like what you want to do basically is you want to put at least 30 minutes of reading in, or 30 minutes of listening to audios in, or 30 minutes of watching in a video a day. It's not something that you have to do all day long. You know what I mean? But like if you're on your way to work, listen to an audio or read 30 minutes or watch a video. Like you just want to constantly do it every single day. It's the consistency that's gonna create that change in your mindset, and you just got to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
Because if you're consistently in a positive state, that's what's gonna come out when you're in your marketing. It's gonna come out when you speak to people, to artists. It's gonna come out in all aspects of your life because you're becoming the person that you want to be, the person that you're supposed to be, because you're developing yourself, your personal development. That's what it is.
Exactly.
So I guess we can kind of go ahead, Chaz.
If you don't like books, get the audio versions.
All day.
Plug them in on your phone. Plug them in your car.
Yeah.
Like,
on the train.
when you're working out, whatever.
There's always time to develop, you know what I'm saying, for personal development. Always.
Exactly. You've got to work on. This is a problem as well. People work on everything else more than they work on themselves. And I mentioned this again in I think our last video about Rich Dad Poor Dad, about minding your own business. You know, just focusing on putting yourself first. Because if you work on yourself first, you'll be able to offer more to other people and anything else you do. You know, if you it's just like, for example, if you wanted to give money to charity, and fair enough, you could start giving money to charity now, but you'd only be able to offer as much as you have. Whereas if you worked on yourself, created a company, made loads of money, you would have so much more to offer. And that's why it comes down to working on yourself first.
Definitely. All right, so I guess we're gonna get up out of here. If you guys got any value from this video and you want to learn more, make sure you click the link below this video. Get on the GTS move and get down with the team and let's get it. It's your boy V Kush Beats.
Yeah, man. Travis with T Customs Productions. Happy to take part in today's webinar hangout. Always happy to be here with you guys. See your lovely faces. But yeah, man, just take action, guys. Personal development is so huge. Click the link below, get in. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm always happy to be here too. So everybody just make it a great day. Don't let it be a great day. Make it a great day. So it's your boy KC with KC-Beats.com. I'm out.
Yeah, it's Chrissy from mutualsounds.com. Yeah, you've got two options. You can click the link below and make a change to your music production business today, or you can ignore that link and keep getting the same results you're currently getting. So I'll leave you with those two options, and let's see which one which decision you make.
All right, y'all. That's what's up. GTS Movement. We will see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.